Hey everybody, on this episode of Hargrave, we are here to pick up the new 102-foot Hargrave, which is actually 109 feet overall, that just arrived in Port Everglades. We, on the ship that shipped it, the yacht that shipped the ship, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of yachts on here. We're gonna be throwing this thing in the water after it went halfway around the world to get here. So I guess the question is, how do you get from this, which is basically a bare hull, to this? For Hargrave, it all starts in Taiwan, and it's the Kaohsiung Yacht Yard, which Hargrave produces their yachts. They also have a yard in Turkey. But this one's in Kaohsiung, and believe it or not, it's about 4 miles from the ocean. They do have a basin that they can test, but this particular boat, this is the 102, and they have to close the streets. They have to move this boat in the middle of the night to get to the harbor. If you notice the bow right there, it's very, very close. This particular yard can only build yachts to about 136 feet because of that turn. They close the roads out. It's a big deal. As you can see, this new Hargrave is taking a tour of the town in the middle of the night. That's because of traffic. I'll tell you what, I was very impressed with Taiwan and their boat building capabilities. They really have come together to make a quality product in all the yards. But, you know, this brand new boat is going down the main road, down through town. It's about a 3-mile trip to the harbor. Even though it's not that far, it's a couple, 3 miles, it's a long process because they're going very, very slow. They have to raise the wires up across the streets to get over the radar arch. Now, another cool thing about Taiwan is they have this huge, huge lift here to get the yachts into the harbor, and all the boat manufacturers share that. So it's just another thing of the community coming together to get the job done. And by dawn, timing's right, the 102s hit the water for the first time. It's starting the engines in the harbor for the first time. What they'll do now is they'll back this off, they'll tie it up alongside, and then they'll do a series of sea trials because every Hargrave doesn't leave the yard until a series of checks are done to make sure that everything is the way it should be. It's good quality control. Once the yard guys have finished doing their quality control, there's a couple of things they do. A lot of times the boats leave the yard in one piece. Sometimes there's add-ons that they're going to have to put on down here at the port because of height restrictions. Okay, so it's loaded up on the BBC Philippines. Sometimes they go through the Panama Canal. This one was westbound. It went down around South Africa and then up into the Atlantic. I understand that it did have to fight off a kraken in the lower latitudes, but that's pretty normal. It takes about 30 days, 30 some odd days to get from Taiwan to Fort Lauderdale. The reason, by the way, it didn't go through the Panama Canal is because the canal is so backed up right now. It would have added weeks to the trip. Okay, meanwhile in Fort Lauderdale, we're waiting for the ship's launch. The whole 30 days. No, I'm kidding. But we are waiting since about 7 o'clock. The boat's not showing up. One funny thing happened. This guy launched his boat while we were waiting, and he left the keys to the boat in the car. I don't know how he's going to get out of that one. But we're waiting some more. And the launch never comes. But we get the phone call saying, no, come straight to the ship and get the boat ready. So we're off to the port. Now, there were a lot of boats, a lot of yachts on their way to Fort Lauderdale, and most of them are new. I mean, there's some Ocean Alexanders there. And this is the one we were looking for. This is the brand new Hargrave. When we arrive at these boats, we don't know what the deal is. We don't know what's on them. We don't know anything. We're told where the keys are. We try and get in. But this is basically, you have a very short amount of time to get the boat operational because time is money and they want the boats in the water. So the whole team gets to work really quickly to check everything out. Basically, it's engines, bow thruster, steering, safety gear. A lot of times the electronics are not operational. We bring portable electronics with us. And as we're doing this, they're literally picking the boat up. I mean, that's how fast it goes. This guy is sounding the hull because we have to sign off on it. There's James, and he's doing the rudder test. It's very important. Last boat we brought off, we didn't have rudders, so we just used the engines.
Yep, it's showing up here, okay.
They're cutting the cradle up, and they're going to sell it for scrap. We don't want it. So while we're doing all this, they are not stopping. That boat's going in the water whether we're ready or not. And that's the way it works. They have a schedule. For me, it's always strange seeing these big boats hanging in the air like that on these straps. I mean, the bottom line is, it's just one little shackle's holding that whole damn boat. But it works. They have a system. They have to hang the boat, by the way, off the side for an extended period of time because there's somebody somewhere else on the ship transferring ballast. If they drop the boat without transferring ballast, the whole boat's going to rock. So it's a very long process. And of course, we had to get off, so we couldn't continue with our start procedures. But we're getting there. Now, normally, we'd have to go back to where we were, jump in the launch, and then put us on this boat, but we kind of said, hey, look, let's just jump. It was a little tricky getting over, but we did it. There's Lucas, he's the designated captain, and that's Chad, he's the commissioning captain. And luckily nobody fell in the water. Our team that gets the boats in the port are very well prepared for just about anything because you have to work and you have to work on the fly. Chad got the boat underway very quickly, and he is backing out of the cradle right now. Now that cradle, again, is just going to be sold for scrap. That's what they do. It's too expensive to ship it back to the yard. There are a lot of boats there. A lot of boats waiting to go. Now, there's our launch. That's Finest Kind going somewhere. Turns out we didn't need them. But so what we're doing is we're taking the boat from the port to 20th Avenue. It's in Fort Lauderdale. It's a short trip, but you know, we're all standing on a boat we've never been on before, and as this is happening, James and the commissioning team are still running around the boat making sure everything's operational, bringing batteries up and all that. But generally speaking, every boat that comes off the ship from the factory is pretty much ready to go, navigation-wise. 17th Street Bridge. If you're ever in Fort Lauderdale and you see these boats with coverings all over the windows, it's because they literally just got off the ship. And for those of you who are wondering, no, she isn't registered. We have dealer tags, just like car dealers have, so we put dealer tags in the window. Tricky docking for sure. We're at 20th Street and there's a lot of current, and actually the wind and current's coming from the south. So Chad's being extra cautious. We don't want to bang up a new boat. Chad actually did an amazing job. Never driven this boat before, jumped right on it, and he parked it like a champ. Now, we all know 20th Street, he had wind and current against him, about 2 knots of current and about 15 knots of wind, and he backed that puppy straight up in. No tugs were needed for this. You think this would be the end of the journey, but frankly, it's just beginning. This is where the rest of the commissioning team jump on, and this particular boat is going to be ready for action in about 7 days. That's a lot of work. You know, this is what it takes to get a boat from Taiwan to Fort Lauderdale. There are teams on both sides doing everything they can, even in the middle of the night, to get these boats here, to have the owners happy and being able to use their boat. Okay, so this boat actually started its journey in Taipei, Taiwan, and now it's finally in Fort Lauderdale. I want to give a big thank you to Chad. He's the commissioning captain, and he did a magnificent job bringing this boat in. And the designated captain for the boat is Lucas. Lucas, congratulations. Thank you. So the next step is they get this whole thing cleaned up. Matter of fact, the owners just showed up. They're on the boat right now with Mike D. But so the boat's going to get into commission, and then Chad's going to hand the boat over to Lucas, and off you go into the wild blue sea. Off we go. Yeah. So that's it for this trip. And you know, thanks again, guys. It was really awesome. And we'll see you next time.